Welcome to Moto Talk, episode 5. We got a special guest today, and we pride ourselves in providing a place for the amateur motocross racers to connect with current and past champions, providing the inspiration to chase their dreams as a racer. So we want to thank SRS Suspension and JTA Yacht Delivery for sponsoring the show. We have a pretty cool guest today, a friend of mine I raced with growing up, an Ohio boy, fast as a kid, still fast. So welcome Willie Browning to the show. Now Willie has 9 or 10 times he's qualified for Loretta Lynn's, from the PW50 class, 60s, 80s, all the way up to the A class. So he has done it all throughout his amateur career, consistently going to Loretta Lynn's. And Willie had, I think, 6 or 7 top 10s at Loretta Lynn's. So he was a front runner. He's also won an Arenacross championship, finished 7th overall at the Daytona Supercross in 2008. And he's a Pitbike superstar. He won a bunch of times in Las Vegas when they had the World Mini race there at the Orleans Casino. And he was riding for CHP at the time and was flying out there. Super fast on basically any size bike from a little kid till now. And I know he still gets out there and rides. Yeah. Hey, Willie, what's up? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Just enjoying a nice Ohio day. You know, it's not raining right now, and I'm excited to be here. I don't really get to talk moto that much as I used to, and I love talking. So it goes hand in hand.
You got a pretty cool moto van there.
Yeah, I'm in it right now. Actually, I got off work a little bit earlier and dove down here to the skate park and trying to just stay youthful.
Well, we're pumped to have you on the show. You know, like I said, you've been to Loretta Lynn's pretty much every year that you raced from 92 up to into 2002, I believe, in every class, and a bunch of top 10s. You're an Ohio guy. You know, I got to see you not too long ago, and racing pit bikes. I've raced against you, and I don't think I ever beat you, but I tried to keep up with you. And you know, you just love to ride, just like all of us on here. We got some guest mini rippers on the show to hopefully ask you some good questions as they follow their racing dreams and chase Loretta Lynn's this year. Some of them are. So, you know, Willie, tell me, so why do you love riding your dirt bike so much? When you were a kid, why'd you go ride all the time?
That's a great question. My dad raced growing up, and obviously he felt the urge and wanted to get me into it. So I started riding at a young age, maybe like 3. And I don't know, I couldn't let it up, I guess. Just became natural. It's something that without it, I don't think that I'm the same. You know, it's really tough to give up. You just can't stop. I just love anything with wheels in general, really, like 2 wheels. I don't know. I just never had the will or want to stop racing or riding. I had some friends, you know, that were good growing up, and then they kind of lost the want to ride, which is fine. I tell my kids all the time, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. I would love to be there, and I would love to be pushing them in the right direction and guiding them. But maybe it'll take off. Maybe they're a late bloomer. So I don't know, but man, I just love riding a motorcycle, and it just it's part of me. It's part of who I am.
That's our favorite question here on Moto Talk, because no one can really put it into words, which makes,
you really can't.
which, you know, makes it so cool. And that's why we go and do it every day, or as much as we can, and get our families involved and all that. Who was your favorite racer growing up? Who'd you kind of look up to?
I think when I was really young, being from Ohio, Josh Smith, he was just, actually, you know what, Tommy Collier. It was Tommy Collier and Josh Demuth. I don't know if anybody remembers Tommy Collier, but he was a little bit south of me, down Chillicothe, and he was the epitome of everything cool. Gear, the look. He had bicycles. Like, I still think of mountain biking and I think of Tommy Collier. I was young, but man, I think he quit when he was around 17, but he was in the pro class when he was 13 or 14 and just dominating. Just a very quiet and just a really, really good guy. I still know him to this day, and he's awesome. But then after that, I think him and Josh Demuth were probably growing up as a young kid. I looked up to Josh. He was super fast and kind of edgy, and he was flashy. I love the way he looked on a bike and what he did. I really like that. I remember he picked me up when I was probably 12 or 13. He picked me up for him and his dad would come to my house in between, like maybe going to which is Fast Tracks now, but Action Sports used to do some big Supercross pro races, and him and his dad would come stay at my house, and that would just tickle me to death. And Josh was definitely a big inspiration and just continuing to follow dreams, I would say.
So you kind of found like a local kind of pro, someone who's older than you, and he kind of got you hooked after seeing what he was doing and how talented he was. Sounds like he kind of inspired you, and you just took it from there and just twisted that throttle. So tell me, Loretta Lynn's, you went there a bunch. Do you even remember? Because when I talked to you earlier, you go, well, you know more than me. And I looked it up, and I had to be 10 or 11 years at Loretta's. So that's a like massive accomplishment. Some guys try their whole lifetime to get there once, and you went pretty much every year you tried to qualify. I mean, maybe you missed 1 year from an injury or something, but you were there every year. 50 class, 92. You're on a PW50.
Yeah.
And that's the only bike on the line. There is no Cobra.
There was one. There was a Moto, a few Moto Marina. There was one Moto Marina probably, and a couple of Italian jets.
Brent Mamoni, right?
Yeah, it was on the Moto Marina. That thing was it was a beast.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, dude, I actually qualified for the Loretta's every single time I ever tried. The only times I would miss it is, like you said, if I had an injury. I busted a few arms, like miss a year. I did one on a bicycle stupidly. My dad was pretty excited about that, but yeah, man, I just was fortunate. I don't know. At a young age, I got it, but I didn't get it. It wasn't till now. I mean, when I got into my 30s, it was like, now I actually understand how to race a motorcycle, which I guess I wish that's what kind of makes maybe an elite athlete, is if you're at a young age and something clicks and you understand how to just be smarter, basically. I can probably go through turns faster now than when I ever raced, like as an amateur or professionally. It's kind of odd to say that, but more, I guess, mentally, I just matured and understood how to race a motorcycle better, but by that time I was already done.
I mean, you maintained a relatively, like, you didn't get injured that much from what I remember.
Yeah, no, I was pretty blessed in that. But that was kind of maybe my flaw, as maybe I could have pushed it harder, but I always kind of just rode within this comfort bubble, which was good enough I made it 30 years without an actual job, sustaining a family and household. And so I feel like that was a pretty good accomplishment for me. I got to travel to, overseas and do a couple winters in Germany for some supercrosses, and then made some friends and came back and did some stuff during the summertime as well. So yeah, I really had a great a great career.
Yeah, it's
and just
injury free.
yeah.
You know, maintain an injury free pretty much, you know, your whole career except for a couple, you know, minor
Yeah.
when you were younger. But a lot of riders you hear they're just always banged up. You know, do you think they're just riding over their head?
You know, possibly, maybe. I don't know how to tone that down. But yeah, you know, it's that's a
That's a
great
tough
question.
one.
Yeah, that is a tough one because I mean, obviously they're comfortable with where they're riding at, or they wouldn't be in that. You know, they wouldn't be riding in that level. I would say, at least, I know. For as far as myself, I know when I've hit like a level, I'm like, yeah, I might be getting out of hand here. But typically, when I went down, it was just, you know, user error essentially. Just wasn't thinking, or maybe there was a couple freak deals, but most of the time I was just in that area I was comfortable with, so I just went with that.
And that probably leads to a lot of why you still ride, why, you know, your kids are riding and you keep them.
Yeah, totally.
There's so many riders who can't our age who don't ride anymore literally because they can't because of it.
Yeah, no, totally. They
Gas
just
or
went all out, you know. I maybe maybe saved a little bit, but I'm glad that I'm still able to do the things I can do today. I, s- you know, like I still BMX and mountain bike and road bike, moto. I feel like the tracks aren't as many or as plentiful as they were when I was growing up. I feel like there was tracks just everywhere, but it's kind of changed. People get older and things go away, but I'm glad that motocross is. I think it's coming back. It's strong. It's really strong right now. Obviously, like kids are excited. I mean, the little classes at the races
like full,
are just packed. Yeah,
yeah.
totally. I throw my kids out there to race, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like yeah, they have, you know, they're doing a few things good, and I'm just watching those front guys like, this is huge.
And I mean, the kids nowadays are flying.
Oh, they are.
What was your favorite year at Loretta Lynn's?
Yeah, I would say like the last year on P Dubs would have been a really good year. I had some bike issues. I'm not quite sure what happened, but
Because you were 8
any
or whatever, or 7.
yeah, I was 8 exactly. I know, yeah. Uh, but I would say the 80 class when I was aging out in the 80 class, those were my man. I just love. I was like the perfect size for an 80. I rode, and I had the extra year. I rode the 80 class till I was 16. So locally, I was driving to the track, unloading 80s, and I was riding as many classes as I could, and 16 to 24 on an 80.
You were on Suzuki on 80s, right?
Yep, the end of the deal. The end of my 80 career, I was on Suzuki's, and you know, the last probably like I don't know if I ever went on super mini, but you know, 14, 15. I had one. I don't know. My motos weren't that really that strong at Loretta's. I was more a mini Olympics guy. I love Gatorback. I loved all those tracks, Supercross, motocross. Heck, back then that was GP and TT. I just like being super versatile, and that kind of fit me a little bit better versus Loretta's. I wish mentally I would have been a little bit stronger. I um, definitely got in my head about trying to perform and make everyone happy and stuff like that. So it was kind of a stressful time, but I'm definitely glad. I think it built me. You know, it definitely helped me as an individual now to deal with pressure and situations like that.
So you were pretty nervous down there every time you went to the starting line, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, terrified. Actually, to be honest, from the time I was on a P dub till the time I like ended, going to Loretta's was it was scary, man. I mean, you had uh, there were
Who were
so
you,
many fast
who were you
riders. There
racing
was
with? Who was like winning your class and you were battling?
oh,
I know you were
let's
up
say,
front.
I mean, Gene Stahl, Josh Hansen, Gavin Graysick. shoot, we race. I mean, Gavin and I raced every weekend in Ohio. Ryan Sipes, Paul Parabinos. I mean, gosh, I'm drawing blanks, but they're the whole class they were, and we were racing them every weekend. Even in Ohio, you know, Pennsylvania guys coming over, and or up north. I don't think you and I raced that much growing up, but up north, you know, Matt Barnes. Shoot, there's you had Mickey
Wow.
Marshall, Derek Fisher. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
remember like maybe going to Kenworthy's back in the day and the 50 racing the 50 track, and like there was always some names I'd never heard of that would be at Derek Fisher was one of them, and Mickey Marshall would always be there, and yeah, man, it was just always packed.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot. I mean, Ohio seems like it produced over the years a ton of fast riders and still does.
Yeah,
This
totally.
area. And just like, I mean, and we compete with those guys in Florida or California out west who get to ride
Yeah.
all the time. And that's, we're taking the winter off. What did you do in the winters?
Yeah, so '03 was the first year I raced like Supercross and any of that jazz. But before that, we had Arenacross was such a huge series on the East Coast that I'd been racing Arenacross since 80 class or 60s even. We had all local indoors, and then Victory Sports had races, and then there were regional Arenacrosses that we all did.
And you won in 2009.
Yeah, in the lights class, the smaller class. And then I got 10th overall in the big class. So that was a pretty good season for me. I think I was 18, probably 17, 18. And I was able to go to Justin Applewhite's house down in Albany, Georgia, where there's a slew of good guys. David Hill, Brendan Jessman. Man, they're just Lonnie, trying to think who else was down there. Derek Fisher. There was a bunch of Jeff Gibson, Mike Campbell. We got to go basically live in Justin's mom and dad's pool house, and then race his Supercross track, or not race it, but practice on his Supercross track. That actually Lonnie Taylor. There's just a ton. I just made friends with a lot of people, and got to travel down south and hang out down there during the winter. Once I started doing Supercross, then I went out west for just the West Coast stuff, and stayed at another friend's house in Temecula, and would sneak onto some Supercross tracks because those were too expensive.
So you preferred the tight kind of Supercross or Arenacross compared to outdoors. I mean, you ran a ton of outdoor nationals, but it seems like you prefer Supercross. Why is that?
I definitely do prefer Supercross. Just it's more mental. I love the mental side of it. You have to really think. It's technical. I kind of don't like outdoors for me right now. All the local tracks are just getting a little bit too fast, and my brain isn't working hard enough. And so I'm like, I get bored. I'm just like, oh well, I just held the gas on from here to here, and I just kind of wasted some. I'm not feeling like I'm getting like a good workout, I guess, or just I just like it when you have to really think, you have to pick lines, and you have to, you can challenge a guy by going harder here because you outthought him here, or just stuff like that is, I definitely like that.
Yeah, a lot of times you get stuck kind of following someone, because you said it took you 30 years to figure it out and you finally know where to go on the track. What's some advice to these guys that if they're on a 50 following their first moto and they get stuck following like the guy in front of them, how do you kind of get away from that and pick some new lines without going in like the terrible line and get stuck on your P-dub?
Yeah, and you just gotta look out for those those little areas on the track that are nice and smooth. I've been like here lately, I find myself like swooping, making a turn, one turn, and not four turns or three turns, and if those ruts are getting deep, try and just stay not directly out of them, but just
Motocross guys want to always enter like you find them entering like super tight inside.
yeah, that's no. I'm just like nowadays, I'm just like swooping from the outside and just pick up that rut and just use the rut the whole way, and try and stay on the gas, and use your brakes too. Front brakes, that's your best friend too in that deep stuff. And I'm actually like, when it comes to teaching, I'm not not the best teacher. I'm more of like, I would rather take some kids with me and like, hey, let's go riding and do as I do type thing versus trying to like, I don't know how to explain it. I just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people just know how to go fast. And I mean, you're definitely one of them. What did you do when you were a kid during the off season for fun? Did you play sports? What did you do to like take a break from motocross, or did you get a break?
I don't think we got a break. I played basketball 1 year, and in like the fourth grade, had some Larry Johnson Converse shoes. I remember that, and I fouled out like every game. I just was like coming in like trying to get the ball. I didn't realize you couldn't like just. Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't do much. As much as I liked bicycles, my dad was so anti-bicycle because I was just wadding myself up on those all the time.
I
But
mean, you're pretty good on a bike now. I see you out there.
I've only gotten better. I've only, like literally with just with age, man, everything's gotten better. Just I don't know, feels good.
Yeah. What's who is your, because you had some cool sponsors. You're like a No Fear guy, I remember. Who is your
Yeah.
favorite sponsor, like that growing up, and what did they send you that you were just so pumped, like one of your first ones, and you got stuff? Who stands out to you?
Man, honestly, my buddy Kuzo at 100% has to be honest, like going to Loretta's, I would see him in Bevo, and I wore Scott's at the time. And I think in the packet they give you like a little certificate for a set of tear offs or something back in the day. I'd go over there and just be like super. I didn't talk to them. They were like legends, you know. And one day I think we were on the West Coast, and yeah, getting ready for. I think it was Anaheim, like 04 or 05. Jeff Cardis, did some photographer, hooked me up with Kuzo, and he's like, hey, John said you could stay with him. So I was like, oh, I have a room, you know, because I was just bumming. I was literally I had some small rides, but most of the time it was just me trying to figure out like find a mechanic once I got there and stuff like that. But so man, John just took me under his wing. I like, I don't know, he was awesome. Just I would get, you know, some, just sending me goggles, or like we get to the hotel, I'd open up boxes of sunglasses. He's like, here, take these, or stuff like that. But man, yeah, he's great. He's one of my best friends now, and still to this day we talk. But another one would be maybe No Fear. Craig Rude at No Fear. I have like a 2-page spread in a Racer X from Southwick that's like, I don't even know why I got that, but they put me in it. I was wearing like next year's gear, and yeah, man, that's got to be a highlight for sure to be.
You think that made
involved.
you go faster?
Oh, for sure. Like getting dude, you know, a couple sets of gear a weekend and plenty of gloves, and having stuff nobody else has, like
T-shirts, hats, like everything.
Dude, yeah, yeah. You have to look the part, you know, and for me, that's a huge mental advantage is to look the part. That's probably the toughest thing now is like, I hate calling in favors or asking for things. So now I'm like running a little bit old gear and this and that. And I'm like, oh geez, I'm really like,
well, you're like mid-30s, you know?
I know. Yeah. I'll be
You're
38 in a couple weeks. So
you're a moto dad now.
yeah. Yeah. Calling in favors for my kids.
That's awesome, man. I'm pumped to talk to you. You know, you did the Mini Moto Fight Club. That was kind of your last bike race. Are we going to see you on pit bikes again?
Yeah, you know, I think Rob and I are spooling up. I think there's going to be another Pit Bike Designations this year at Redbud. It looks like it should be the three of us again. So myself, Phil Poto, and Carson Brown. Hopefully,
what about Costello? Where's he at?
Oh man, I actually talked to him a little bit on the internet every now and again. He's doing well. He's out in Vegas, and he's making veneers, teeth, like killing it. He does a great job, man.
We'll have to get him on the show one of these times.
Yeah, you should totally. He's wild, man. He was dude, yeah, he was bad. He was bad.
He was fast, super fast.
Oh my god, so
on big
fast.
Bikes, on minis.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, totally. Him, you know, Ryan Abrigo. That was another guy I always raced with, but obviously we'd only see each other twice a year, probably at Loretta's or yeah, mini O's or something. I never really went out west. I never did any of the world minis or any of that. Well, I guess went to RM Cup a few times out there, but
What was your
that was
best
kind of
finish in mini O's? You said you liked mini O's better than Loretta's.
third. I got a third overall.
Third overall.
Yeah, that was in mini senior. So like probably the last year of 80 class, I got a third. So that's like I would say that is my highlight of my amateur career is that third place.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. I mean, the guys that are getting third place are pretty much factory riders nowadays.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
What
so that was
what do you
pretty
think?
cool.
What do you think the difference is nowadays for for the kids compared to like when we were kids? Because we're the same age. We're.
I know.
What do you think is different? What do you think is like? Is it harder now? Or some tips for the parents maybe?
I think tips for the parents are, there's a fine line of being stern and I want to yell and scream all the time and be like, why do you not understand this? But my kids, they don't understand it. Like they don't, even if they were taking it to the level I was taking it at that age, like I still didn't understand it. And my dad didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. But you just have to think about like, he's 8 years old. Does he really know what he's doing? Or how can I show him what to do better, basically? So I think that I like that my dad stayed on me, because if he hadn't, maybe I wouldn't have done what I've done, or yeah, I definitely wouldn't be who I am. I always try my best at everything I do. I'm definitely not quitting, never pulling off the track or giving up. I just, you stick it out there. You're out there to race or ride, so you make the best of it. And
so I mean, it's pretty much teamwork.
Yeah, it's teamwork. Yeah, you come in, you have a good relationship with your parents or whoever's taking the track. I think it goes hand in hand to what you do on the track and off the track. I think all that really plays a good part in a successful anything, really.
And then when you're showing up to the line, you said you want to look the part. So are you showing up to the line even nowadays, or when you were a kid? Do you remember? Were you like, I'm gonna win? What was your attitude?
I feel like I'm a little bit weak in the confidence area. No, I was never cocky. I was actually really quiet.
But you wanted.
I'm a little bit mildly superstitious, so I have a lot of a lot of little rituals. I still do. Even going to the line, practicing, doing anything, I have some things. I always dot my, I always do those, and I've not done them, and I feel like, well, I messed that up, or I've crashed, or I've done some stupid stuff.
Did you get good starts typically?
Ooh, yeah, sort of. My confidence level is like either on the far outside or far inside. Typically, I love the inside just because you kind of you can control that first turn, whether you're first or in the middle. You kind of just slide right in there. My dad's always wanted me to line up not on the inside, so I'm like, I'm not going over there. But I did get good starts, though. Definitely when you're confident, if you have good confidence, man, then the start is very important. And that's where the race is, usually won.
After your no fear ad, you were getting better starts.
Better starts for sure. Yeah.
Racer acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are your kids, and what are they riding?
I actually have 3. So my oldest 16. She actually is not riding right now, but wants me to buy her a Grom. So there's that. My middle daughter is 12. I just got her a KX100. She was kind of like mildly into it, not into it. So she was kind of just trail biking it up. She had like a CRF 125, and she raced it really well, but the thing weighed, 200 pounds and was just no suspension. I would watch her hit holes and it's just like wallering out. I'm like, oh, we got to do something here. So, yeah, we actually rode it for the first time yesterday, or not yesterday, but last weekend. And I was like actually surprised. Her body positioning got way better. We got to figure out the starts and some stuff like that, but it was nice. And then my son Dylan, he's 8, and we have a 50, but I'm just more leaning him to not even want to get on that right now. Just keep him on the 60. We have a KTM 60 as well. I just feel like it's if we were winning and faster and riding all the time, then the 50 would be obviously I would put him out there because there's more of a potential at his age and size to be doing better. But right now I'm just trying to maybe get him to understand the fundamentals. You know, I was riding an 80 at 8 years old probably. I mean, seems like it anyways. Anyways, so I'm just trying to get him to get the clutch and use all the proper adequate time on, you know, he needs to be on the 60 anyways, to be honest. Like, so
They don't like to step up to the clutch, you know.
no, he doesn't. Then I'm like, he's like, what gear do I start out in? I'm like, we go over this every time. I'm like, you know, I'm not even saying on the start, I'm saying when we're taking off in the pits. Like, I'm like, just go. And then he's like, you know, he's still stalling it. He actually will take off on the line, but if we're in the pits, he's like letting the clutch it not enough. I'm like, and then it stalls. I'm like,
so I know there's some 50 riders on the call. We got Cash and Gannon and Caverick. They're on the 50s. They got plenty of years left. What would you
dude, just
get us? When would you say get a 65? Like as soon as you can, or hold off?
No, I would get a 65 as soon as you can, and I would ride the wheels off of the 50 as long as you can. I think that's where I messed up, is that Dylan had a P-dub for a minute, but he didn't ride it enough. Like, I think you have to ride every bike as much as you can, and when you've conquered that, you get the next one, kind of thing. There's a lot to be learned on that P-dub, I think. And, you know, people are, this and that, but dude, we rode P-dubs till we were 9 or I did, right?
Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah. I don't know, whatever the maximum year plus a year. Yeah. That's what we did. And I think we got a lot of bike skills from the P-dub, where honestly, I think if they're eligible for the P-dub class, they should be on that bike, because I think it's a great bike still.
Who was the biggest P-dub rider that you remember?
Ooh,
I'm trying to think who is.
Dude, the Whitcrafts. Chris Whitcraft was huge.
Hanging off the back of the bike, you know.
Dude, yeah, hanging off the back of it. He probably wore a size 8 shoe already by then.
So you say, stay in that class as long as you can and maximize.
I think so, man. Just maximize. Like, people are trying to get out of it, you stay in it and just keep going with it till it's broken half. I just think that you ride the P-dub as long, and
you really like figure out the P-dub, and if you can master that and get every little bit out of it and get
totally.
You see with the top guys on P-dubs jumping stuff and manualing and
like you're having to use that bike. You're having to like figure things out that you're not normally you wouldn't figure out on the KTM, because you're like, it's too much. But yeah, like you said, you have to like manual bumps, maybe run off the start. Shoot. Yeah, dude. I mean, figure out, like, we were honestly just leaving those things wide open and trying to make every bit of power or movement that you could possibly make. So I think those are great learning skills. Like, I think kids don't understand those because they haven't had that. So
you think maybe they're moving up?
Yeah,
to I think or Cobra 50 too soon a lot of times.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it makes sense.
I would really like to. I'd really like to see, like, if I could do it over, I would go straight for that electric bike right away. I think the throttle response on those things are really good. Where the KTM and the Cobra have so much lag. I hate that lag of like it's just so hard, I think, for kids to understand unless they're already to that next level. Where that electric bike, you kind of roll it on. It's nice.
Have you rode an electric big bike yet, like an Alta?
I have not. I haven't. They look fun, but they look a little scary too. But I don't know. I'm just worried about that not having the power when it like
you know, a dirt bike. If something just kind of sounds wrong, you know, engine, you know, you're gonna maybe pull off or not jump that triple or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have any sound. I'm worried about it, like me getting on the throttle and it not being there. going Indo or whatever, that kind of, but shoot, everyone seems to love them.
Yeah, they seem cool. I haven't got to ride one, but they look like a lot of fun. That new
Yeah.
coming out.
Oh my gosh. I
maybe
know.
someday. I'm sure we'll be on one of those before.
You're probably right. I'd
At
like
least
to not
test
think
it.
that, but yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, send us out one.
When they hit the
For
whoops,
sure.
it sounds so weird. You got show
Yeah.
on that. All you
I
hear
just seen that what Kawasaki's got a mini bike coming out. I just seen that little video today.
I know Honda has, but that's kind of, it seems like it's XR50.
I know. I don't know why they did that, but yeah.
But either way, it's neat to see all the new electric bikes. So you say the electric bike is kind of the way to go.
I think it's a good. Personally, I have no idea, but just my feeling on that bike, I think it's. I just like how the throttle is, to be honest. How it rolls on, and so it doesn't have a motor. I don't know. Look at that. Casey Henson. We raced with him, and his son looks pretty awesome on that little. He's on the killing it on electric stuff. So
nice. So you have to let me know when you get one for your little boy.
Yeah.
If he was ready to step up to the.
Well, shoot, he already. I guess. I think that I don't know. I think 8 years old. I don't know the age class on the electric bike. I think it might be younger. Unfortunately.
So Willie, you got any sponsors you want to shout out today? I know you got some, probably still a huge list of sponsors.
Yeah, for sure, man. My whole entire professional career, Lyle at CHP, all the mini bike stuff, he fronted a lot of the bill. As long as I was out there racing, I wouldn't have made it to most of the stuff probably without him. He's like a family member to me. So he's definitely a big one that we still talk, keep in touch. My parents, being a father now, I can't even actually fathom how much our parents sacrificed for us. Your dad was at every single race as well. Like, dude, it's wild how much our parents have given up just so we could be at that race growing up. From the time they're still, they still want to go and watch. My dad's still trying to get me to go out there and race. Like, hey, we racing this weekend, or like, what's going on? Like, actually, my dad's riding more now than, I'm glad him and his buddies, Gibson's dad and another friend, Mike Campbell, his dad, they go riding like every weekend. So that's pretty sweet. But 100%, pretty much just John Kuzo, wherever he's at, he's always got my back. Rob Bidos, he's always helping me out with pit bikes and stuff. Any of that. Shane from Fuel, we're good friends. I've just made so many great friends over the years racing. People that go to high school, I think they lose friends. I've had the same set of friends since I was about 10 years old. It's just everyone. It's like a huge family, which is really hard to get away from because you don't see them. You wonder. You're just like, man, I miss everyone that I used to have a good contact or relationship with, and I still try and keep up on most everyone that that we really clicked with, and I'm just thankful for that, really.
So your Moto family was pretty much still your best friends.
Sure. Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, every one of them. It's just great. It's unbelievable how I tell people that all the time. They're like, oh, I don't even know if I have any good friends or best friends or like, man, but dude, there's every one of them is a strong one. I'd do anything for all of them. Like, they're all great.
All over the country too.
Yeah, dude, all over the place. Exactly.
In the world, you probably still have friends. You probably could reach out when you were in Germany. Right?
Yeah, totally. Another one too. I know I'm forgetting. I'm missing. You got Moto Extremes, Kevin Orschel and Mike Ivers now owns the place, but they were always Kevin actually sponsored me in my very first professional year racing, or second year, sorry, and I raced the Husqvarna for him before they were like super cool. And then right now Moto Zilly up in Warren, Ohio, Yamaha. Jim's helped me out quite a bit up there, and I'm thankful for that.
And you'll be racing the Nations probably on that Yamaha 110, TTR 110.
Yep, we'll be. I think Jim's gonna step up and do that again. So yeah, we'll be all on, on Yamahas, and it'd be pretty good time.
We got some kids on the show, and I know they want to ask you a few questions. So Caverick, like I said, Caverick and I kind of started this podcast. He rides the 50.
That's awesome.
He was top 10. He had some a little bit of problems in the last moto, but I know he's a front runner.
He's got plenty of things hanging on the wall that look nice.
And he's on the show. So, hey, Cav, how you doing today?
Good.
Yeah, seen you riding, getting some practice in over the weekend, looking good out there. Do you have a question for Willie?
What was your worst injury?
I actually broke my femur, I think, when I was about 12. That was a good one. I was really small growing up. And so on that one, it was a big deal because they couldn't, nowadays, if you might break your femur, they put a rod in it, you're up walking around later, like 3 days later. I, on the other hand, I was kind of far away. So I went to one hospital in Southern Ohio, and then another hospital. I went to Children's. I was in Children's Hospital for 6 weeks in traction. Some of my leg was basically just had a rod through it, and it was just hanging in the air. And that sucked. And then once I was out of traction, I was then in a cast from basically my neck down, both legs, for another 6 weeks. That was like my whole summer. So that sucked. That one really hurt. That one that was hard to come back from because I was so young, and when I started riding again, I was a little timid. Just it mentally hurt me on that one as well as physically.
That's not.
I was pretty weak when I got out of that one. Yeah.
Good question. We don't want to get hurt, but you got to kind of ride on, right, hovering over the edge.
That's just, that was one of those freak deals. I think David Whitcraft and I, we kind of hit on a start, and then I veered one way, and like he hooked my leg the other way, and then this leg hit the ground and then twisted. So it was like, it sucked.
We got Cash. He lives out in Colorado, in Denver. He's on the show. I know he's got a good question for you, Willie. How you doing today, Cash?
Good.
I seen you with some first place trophies over the weekend with a big smile on your face. You got a question for Willie?
How do you do the whoop section?
Oh man, the whoops. For me, I'm if you ever watch Marvin Muskin, he's more of a, when it gets I can rhythm, man. I can 3-4-3 as fast as Tyler Bowers is skimming them in Arenacross. That was more my style. I could skim them when they're nice and rounded, but I'm just being a little bit smaller. My confidence is jumping them. Cooper Webb. Look at Cooper Webb. It sucks to not be able to skim the whoops that well, but if you can't skim them, then better figure out how to get through them the best you can. And for me, that was just combinations of triples and quads, and get in and get out as less of jumps as you possibly can, and just stay, rail that turn, and then I would just rip, and then head on out of them.
There you go, with the sound effects and everything. Was that a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke?
That was sounded like a 2. I don't know. I don't think I make 4-stroke noises.
That was such a good question, Cash.
Thank you. But what's your favorite jump?
Jump. That's a. Say it again.
What's your favorite jump move?
Probably just the whip.
I like to whip.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite, is the Moto whip.
Just a good clean whip.
I'm learning.
Whip. Are you? That's awesome. Yeah, man. That's actually my son Dylan is. That's what he says to me every time he's coming off the track. Now he's like, "Do you see that whip?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen it."
I have a friend named Dylan.
You do? That's a good name. I like that. I like Cash too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, and Colorado's awesome.
We got Tatum on the call. Tatum raced over the weekend at Pleasure Valley. I know Willie and I raced Pleasure Valley a bunch growing up. Tatum, how you doing? You got that second place. Do you have
Yep.
do you have a question for Willie today?
What was your favorite track?
My favorite track. I'm gonna say I have three maybe. I love Kenworthy's, but that no longer exists. And then I would think my second favorite track is Millville. Millville is like, if anybody ever gets a chance to go there, I say go there because it's an amazing track. Everything around it's awesome. Scenery, that dirt is just killer always. And I like Redbud too.
Millville Cash with the biggest whoop section.
Oh yeah.
How'd
That's
you get through those?
I can skim through those.
Those are jumpers.
Those are jumper skimmers kind of. That's a little different.
Yeah, a little different.
And a great pit bike track. That's one of the best pit bike races we would have at the Outdoor Nationals for sure.
Hey, little Vion, how you doing? Did you get some riding in over the weekend too?
He's talking to you.
Yeah.
Do you have a question for Willie?
Mm.
Come on, I know you do. Tell Willie what you ride.
I ride a PW50.
All right. I like that.
You got a good question for Willie?
Do you like the deep ruts or the smooth ones?
I like the deep ones. That's where I think I love it because I know that people get freaked out about that. And I like that. I like when people are talking about things that they're nervous about at the race. When I hear that, I'm just like, all right, let's do this. You know, it builds my confidence up. I love deep ruts. I like it when the track's super rutty, super tacky. I prefer a nice, deep, loamy, hard pack tracks aren't really my style, but as soon as they get rough and ruddy, that's bring it on.
Good question. Hey, Gannon, you got a good question for Willie today?
Yeah,
How you doing?
good.
All right, what's your question for Willie Browning?
Did you like riding pit bikes better or big bikes?
Ooh. Oh man, that's a good one too. You know, for me, pit bikes started out as me and my friends had XR50s with the BMX handlebars on them, and we were riding like BMX trails. Or a friend of mine had an indoor skate park in Columbus. We would every Monday night go there and ride pit bikes inside. Like we were just, that was pit biking for me growing up. You know, I would see Z50s and stuff like that at the track, and it was just, that's kind of like an outlet to the competitiveness of racing. But then it obviously turned the exact opposite of that for me later in life. Like then I actually took pit biking and kind of made a career out of it that was decent, paid, you know, I made a little bit of money at it and stuff. I would still say I think I would rather be on a big bike than a pit bike though. I think pit bikes are great, but regular motorcycle is probably it's just always, it's never let me down. It's always fun, you know. Pit bikes can be so, and they're a little bit finicky at times, and yeah, I just think a big bike is actually a little bit more fun for me.
That was a good question. Hey, Caverick, do you have another question for Willie?
No.
No questions. All right. So this is kind of where we pop over to Ash and Gannon and Tatum. They all raced over the weekend. So we're gonna pop over to all the kids who raced this weekend, and they're gonna share how they did. We're pumped to have you on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Good luck, man, and everyone, and just you know, keep having fun. I'd say that's the main thing, is just keep doing what makes you smile, and you know, you guys it'll just start clicking, and things will start happening, and the progression will come. You just have to stay focused and be consistent. You know, stay consistent with your riding. I think you know, 80s, all that leading up to what I did as a professional was just consistency. I was coming home from school, getting on my bike and just putting in the time and stuff like that. I think that's definitely huge, is consistency, and to just maintain that movement on a motorcycle.
Thanks again, Willie Browning. I can't wait to see you again soon. We really appreciate you taking the time and getting on here and sharing your experience racing. So thanks again, Willie, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being on Moto Talk.
Awesome.
Hey, Kaverick, did you get some riding in this weekend?
Yeah.
You were at Switchback?
No.
Where'd you go?
I went to Dublin Gap.
Dublin Gap. Hey, did you race?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
We had a couple wrecks. I think you got 5th overall.
No, 4th.
What was the track like?
Ruddy and very ruddy and wet.
Were you struggling in the ruts? Sounds like.
Yeah.
So we got to regroup a little bit and figure out how we can get out of those deep ruts. And remember what Willie said: pick a different line. You know, try and find a better line. I know sometimes easier said than done, but maybe one thing to, you know, in between motos, you can get out there and check out the track a little bit and maybe find a little smoother way around the track, you know. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
No injuries? Did you bang yourself up when you crashed, or just little tip overs?
Little tip overs.
So you got back up and you just maybe you didn't lose too much time.
No.
All right, we got to stay off the ground. You know, we lose too much time when we fall down. So sometimes you got to even slow down a little bit, just so you know. Willie Browning, he said he didn't have hardly any injuries except one injury. Is pretty much his whole amateur racing career. So something to think about. You know, we want to go fast, but we don't want to get hurt. So it's a very fine line there. It's hard to not crash sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's going on? What do you have going on this weekend? Are you racing or just practicing?
Racing in 2 weeks at Dublin Gap.
2 weeks. So you're going back to
That's
Dublin.
the 45 for Loretta's.
Regional, right?
Yeah.
So you learned what to do and what not to do, and got that little bit of track time. Now you're ready to go. So you can see where you made some mistakes,
Yeah.
and then hopefully not make those mistakes again. Can you believe we did 5? This is our 5th episode of Moto Talk. What'd you think of Willie Browning as the guest? Did you like him?
Yeah.
How you doing today, Cash? Tell me about your race weekend.
My race was a little rough, but when I tried to clear a double, I cleared a tabletop, and I tried to clear a double, so I actually let it off and then I accidentally cased it.
I was able to get back up.
I was able to get back up and finish it.
Oh, so you had a crash this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit my head.
You hit your head a little bit?
Yeah. Thank you for my shirt.
You're welcome. That shirt, how's it fit?
It fits good.
Yeah, it looks good. Next time you gotta hit that jump a little faster, right?
But it wasn't even my bike. It was my friend's, but she let me borrow it. It was the T-Rex starter. That's why I tried to double it.
So maybe a little more practice before you start sending big jumps on the other bike. Make sure you know what you're riding, right? We don't want to get hurt.
It was just the T-Rex throttle.
So you got 2 first place. Let's see those. Hold those up again so everyone can see. I know you were showing them earlier. Look at those. Those are bigger than you. Do you even have any more room? I know Kaverick, he barely has any more room on his wall, but he'll make some more room. Do you even have room for those in your trophy room? You have to find some room, huh? You running out of space?
My pictures on the wall.
What's your plan for the week, Cash? Are you getting any riding in this week? Getting ready? What's going on this weekend?
I'm gonna go to Brush this weekend.
Racing? How far is that from your house?
3 hours.
I'm racing this weekend, and the race is 3 hours for me as well.
Good luck.
Thanks. Have you ever been to that track before? Are you excited?
I've been to Thunder Valley, Ordway, Pueblo, New Mexico. That's it for now.
You're going to be checking another track off your list, adding it to your tracks that you've been to. What kind of track is it? Is it sandy or hard packed? Do you know?
It's sandy.
Sandy. Do you like the sand?
There's one part that's tacky too. It's like in the dip. It's like in the dip, but I actually cake batter.
How are you going to do this weekend?
Try my best at getting first place.
Try your best. You got to get a good start. Did you get the whole shot this past weekend?
Yeah.
Was it easier to get when you get the whole shot and get out?
I got the whole 4 times.
Every moto, both classes. Nice. Good job. Isn't it a lot easier when you get the whole shot and you don't get stuck behind people?
Yeah. I got stuck behind people and I have to go around them and then get back into first.
What did you think of Willie Browning being on the show today?
It was good.
You have a Pitbike friend, Lori?
I have a pit bike friend for pit bike with him because he's a good rider. He also gets first place. Yeah, he's my friend.
Jet Underwood.
Underwood.
Yeah, the Jet 100.
Yeah, that's my buddy. We watch him all the time in the arena.
He's so fast on a pit bike. Oh my gosh. He rips.
The pit bike races is Saturday.
You guys are going?
Thunder Valley.
Oh, Thunder Valley. I raced at Thunder Valley once.
I raced there like 2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
Cash, you want to shout out your sponsors? Everyone who helped you get those wins over the weekend?
Sun 660. Money Inc. Thanks, B-Fox, for my shirt. I like it.
Cool. Well, thanks, Cash. I'm glad you're feeling better. And thanks for being on the show today. I can't wait to hear from you next week after you race at Brush. So good luck at the new track. I hope you have fun. And, do your best. Have fun on the track and off the track.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Cash. Hey, Tatum. How you doing? What'd you think of Willie Browning on the show?
Cool.
Were you able to learn something from him?
Yeah.
Good. So you raced at Pleasure Valley
Yep.
and you got second overall.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was rough. I had a few hard crashes, and it was like hard in the back because of the braking bumps going down the hill.
Braking bumps were like the size of whoops, huh?
Yeah, the braking bumps were like the size of whoops. So you had to like take the outside and just rail it.
You switched up your line a little bit to kind of get around them where you could still go fast and not crash.
Yeah.
Was it dry? Or just like kind of like perfect?
Well, it was dry and then it rained for a little bit and then it tacked up just a little bit, which made the track really nice.
How were your starts? I think I saw a video actually of your start.
The first time I got a whole shot, and then the second time I got like a second place off the start.
Well, you maintained second place. Did you get second, first, and second moto?
Yeah.
Oh, but you got that one whole shot. How'd she get around you?
Bigger bike, and I crashed.
Oh, you made a little mistake. But hey, if she even though she was on a bigger bike, you still got to push the whole race and charge every section, because she could have easily made a mistake even though she was on a bigger bike, and you could pass her.
Yeah.
And she may not catch you if it's like the last lap,
The second time I crashed, I took a handlebar to my throat and I got a bruise right here.
Oh, I see it. That doesn't look very good. Did that hurt?
Yeah.
You got back up. You probably didn't even notice till you got back to the truck though.
No, I didn't.
You had the adrenaline going. You got to get up and finish this race.
Yeah.
Did your brother race?
Yep.
You raced Saturday.
He raced Saturday.
Bud, you want to talk?
Yeah.
Right here.
So Brody, you raced over the weekend?
Yeah.
On your PW 50, and how was the track?
Good.
What was your favorite part of it?
Right. Right side, right the finish line.
Oh, you
So,
like
like-
to go the finish
Yeah.
line?
Yeah, because right I didn't jump.
You were getting some air on the finish line? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You had fun?
Mhm.
Did you watch your sister race?
Yeah.
Brody, what was the hardest part of the track?
The what?
The ruts.
Yeah, the downhill rut set and
How did you get through it? What did you do to get down the hill and stay?
yeah, full pendant.
You just pinned it? That kept you from falling?
Yeah.
Do you like going fast?
Mm-hmm.
Brody, you gonna get some good practice in this weekend?
Yeah.
What place did you get?
This.
You got 5th. Are you excited for your next one?
Yeah.
Where are you guys racing next?
A high point.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah, it's a fun track. When I was at Pleasure Valley, I hanged out with these pro-am guys, and they gave me some tips and stuff.
Good. Yeah. Always, go find the fast guys and see how they're going so fast. Get some tips.
Yeah, and we were parked actually right beside them.
What was like the best tip that they gave you that helped you out?
When you're going through the braking bumps, stand up and lean back because it's sand, and just stay on the throttle.
Yeah, keep that front end light, right?
Yeah.
If you keep that front end light, you can power through it.
Mm-hmm.
What they were giving you all kinds of lingo, like
Yeah.
wheel tapping.
Yeah.
So you're learning. I love to hear it, picking their brains and learning some new stuff. Well, thanks, Tatum, for coming on the show today. Thanks, Brody. Tatum, who do you want to thank?
Speed Farm, my mom, my dad, my brother,
Tires.
Smooth Speed Tires, 343 Graphics, and Low Vision, all sorts of people.
Well, have a good week and get some good practices this weekend. Hopefully I'll see you guys, you and Brody and your dad, here soon at the track.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, Gannon, what's up, buddy? You raced Pleasure Valley. How'd it go for you?
Good.
What was the track like this weekend at Pleasure Valley?
Dry.
It was dry. Was it easy?
In the sand and like in the back before all those like tabletops, it was like slick, and then the sand, it was like there was like ruts all over the place. I didn't know where to go, so I just went somewhere.
How do you know where to go? What makes you pick your line?
Well, once I see them like first lap, I'm like, I it's kind of like they're stuck in my mind. I don't know which one to choose. They're like fighting, so I just go like I just pick neither of them. Just pick a different line.
Yeah, try to find the fast line through there. Maybe
Yeah.
you see the guy in front of you get all slowed down, and you go, "Oh, better not take that one."
Yeah.
What was the most fun part of the track this weekend at Pleasure Valley?
Everything.
Everything. You just had a blast out there.
Yeah.
Were you smiling on your bike, or were you frowning?
Smiling.
Smiling. Did you get good starts?
The third race I hit the gate.
You hit the gate. You got a little too excited. You were trying to go.
Well, my friend right next to me, he went, then he was able to back up, and then I went at the same time, and then the gate just dropped.
Oh, how long did it take you to get out of the, were you all caught up in it, or did you kind of get right out?
I just had to back up like 2 steps.
Oh man, then you were all the way in the back of the pack. Did you make some good moves, some good passes?
Well, I got up to 4th.
Good job. So you caught some guys real quick, made some quick moves. Would you rather start at the back or the front?
Front.
Why is that?
Because if you start in the back, you're basically just wasting your time just passing people.
Because if you're at the back, how far is the top 1 or 2, 3 guys? They're like gone by then, aren't they?
Yeah. And if you're up front, you just have to just keep going. You don't.
Then you don't get roosted.
Yeah.
Your goggles stay clean, especially if it's muddy.
Yeah.
What's your plan for the week, Gannon?
Just stay home.
What about, remember what Jam and Gene Stahl said? Fingertip push-ups. Are you going to do some of those?
Try.
All right. I want to see how many fingertip push-ups you can do next week. And I'm going to send it to Gene. Are you racing this weekend?
We're training at Mad Mike's.
We're just training at Mad Mike's house.
Sounds good. With Mad Mike Jones. Does he still have his freestyle ramps out there at his house?
Yeah.
Are you gonna jump one?
No.
No, maybe one day.
Probably never.
What trick would you do if you could go off of one of those jumps?
Superman.
Superman? Well, thanks for coming on, Gannon. Good luck training this weekend. Pay attention. I'm going to quiz you. I want to know what you learned on Monday, okay?
Okay.
And let's see how many fingertip push-ups you can do. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Gannon, for coming on the show. Who do you want to thank today?
O'Neill, Gurney Boots, Spy, Factory Backing, Michael Metals, East American Motorsports, and Point View Cycles. Jones and Roman.
That's a good group. All right, Gannon. Well, you have a good week. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Caverick. Do you have anything to say to Gannon today?
No.
Gannon, do you have anything to say to Caverick today?
He should have been at Treasure Valley because we had like a water balloon fight and we played with squirt guns.
Who would have won the squirt gun fight, you or Cav?
Me.
You guys, what do you think of what do you think Willie Browning would be out there with the squirt gun on his pit bike? chasing his buddies around?
And I got Travis Pastrana's tire.
You did?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna put that?
Tell them the real story.
It actually wasn't Travis Pastrana's tire. My friend's dad said it was Travis Pastrana's tire. No one could and so everyone just stopped fighting over the tire and then just fighted over other people. Then the tire was just sitting there. I just went up and grabbed it, took it to my camper and hid it, and then put it under my mom and dad's bed.
And then turns out it really wasn't his tire.
No. I got autographs and I got Gauge Windmills goggles.
That's pretty cool. What kind of goggles are they?
100%.
I see you got the 100% shirt on. Did you hear Willie Browning talking about 100%?
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Moto Talk, episode 5. Get fast or get last.